Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice. Because of you and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice.
That was the House Speaker, God help us all, Nancy Pelosi, standing outside of Congress with her Democrat socialist colleagues. She's actually thanking George Floyd for sacrificing himself for justice. Joining me now to weigh in, Trish Regan, a host of the Trish Intel podcast and editor-in-chief of TrishIntel.com. Always great to see you, lady. We heard the verdict from Derek Chauvin, the case yesterday, guilty on all 3 counts. You heard Pelosi there basically thanking George Floyd for dying and Joe Biden calling the United States systemically racist. Now, you have stated America needs socioeconomic solutions, not more divisive political rhetoric. Expand on that for us.
Yeah, I mean, look, they are never ones to sit by the sidelines and waste a political opportunity, right? Which is what they have turned this into. And think of how shameful that is, Chris, that they have just tried to capture this for political reasons. You know, they've had plenty of opportunities. And by they, I mean the progressives on the left that run so many of these communities where we have problems with young kids being able to, in this case, right, just go to school, right? Notice that so many urban centers, they stayed closed. Why? Because they don't have leaders that will stand up to the darn teachers unions. These are the kids that are losing out on opportunity. Now, I don't believe America is a racist place. I still believe that we are a fair nation, a meritocracy, where if you work hard, you can get ahead. That said, let's be very clear. When you go around the country, Chris, and you look at these communities that are predominantly African American, they are saddled with lousy policies and lousy lawmakers. And so kids growing up there, they may not stand a chance. It has nothing to do with racism and everything to do with bad socioeconomic policy, for which Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the rest of them ought to be ashamed.
Yeah, and they're guilty. They're absolutely guilty. You know, just hearing you break that down, it made me think, you know, in totalitarian countries like Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, others, they blame the United States for all the suffering of their people because, as you said, bad policies. Now, here in the United States, Democrat-run cities, crime-ridden cities, shut down economies, defund the police, disarm the law-abiding, empower the criminals, and they blame the Constitution, our freedoms, and, of course, Republicans. How different are these socialist Democrats from those totalitarian despots?
They're not different at all. They're actually all cut from the exact same cloth. I've spent a lot of time on the ground, even in Venezuela. I have a lot of sources there. I'm very familiar. I mean, we go back 20 years. My first job was trading Latin American sovereign debt. I am very familiar with what happened to that economy. I'm very familiar with what happened to that society. And I look at what's happening right now, and it's like a replica. It's deja vu, Chris, and this is why we're in such a dangerous spot right now. When you have lawmakers that are trying to constantly blame somebody else, it's like Hugo Chavez blaming, you know, the white European and the United States for all the problems that Venezuela had when he was the one who kicked all the oil companies out of the country. In other words, they are trying to scapegoat here. They are trying to blame everybody else, saying it's systemic racism. No, 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 guys, it is your bad policy. And the more you continue with this bad policy, the more problems we'll continue to have. Plus, think of how damaging that is to people's psyche. Because now you're growing up believing you can never get a chance, you can never get ahead because you're being, you know, oppressed. I mean, it's a very negative, it's a very dangerous message. It is one that has been used successfully by those who want to take charge in Venezuela, and it has decimated the country in the process.
Absolutely, and it's decimating our country. As a matter of fact, some people might be waking up. You know, you've heard the term woke, right? Black Lives Matter tweeted this yesterday. Quote, Biden is currently sending more military equipment to our neighborhoods than Trump did. Our communities are being terrorized at a greater rate than they were under Trump, end quote. How crazy is this? They actually seem to be waking up to the nature of left-wing extremists.
Well, listen, I'm glad that they're waking up to it, because the reality is the left wing is not on their side. The left wing is on the side of the politicians in charge and will do everything that they can to keep those politicians in charge, which means just kind of keeping those groups, and I say those groups, those neighborhoods, urban communities, sort of just, just down a bit, not giving them the opportunity and the means to succeed. Because if you just keep them down and you keep them dependent, maybe they'll keep voting for you into office. And this is why I think our country is really broken. I mean, when you have politicians that are so self-interested that they're not looking out for these young people in these communities, we got a problem.
Yeah, and you know what? I blame the government-run education system for not teaching the dangers of left-wing extremism, of socialism and Marxism that now dominates the Democrat Socialist Party. Trish Regan, always insightful. Talk to you soon, lady.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest-growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.